Hello everyone. Today in Craig's Kitchen we're going to make soft pretzels. And to do that you're going to need 1.5 cups of water, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, a packet of active dry yeast, 4.5 cups of flour, and half a stick, 4 ounces of melted butter to start with. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is take your water, make sure it's at between 110 and 115 degrees. You're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. I've already had that measured out. And then a tablespoon of sugar. Going to give it a little stir. And then you're going to add 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast, which is equal to one of the little packets you buy in the store. So you're just going to take that and sprinkle it on top. And now you're going to wait about 5 minutes. So we will be back.
And actually this is a little bit more than 5 minutes, but it will get bubbly and foamy.
Our yeast is doing fine. So we're going to take that and pour that into the bottom of the mixing bowl. And just for future reference, you can do the yeast part right inside the mixing bowl. Just make sure you don't get your yeast too hot or your water too hot, because your yeast will die if it gets too hot. 115 degrees is about as hot as you want to go with your water that you put the yeast in. So next you're going to take the melted butter, pour that in, put your stand down. Just give that a little bit of a stir, and then you want to add your flour. Now you don't need to have a stand mixer with the dough hook. You can do this all by hand, but it gets really difficult if you don't have any strength in your forearms and a big bowl. So if you're going to plan on doing this for a lot, do yourself a favor and buy a good mixer with a stand and a dough hook. So you're just going to let that mix. It will be a while. So I can just stand here and look at the camera and try to tell some funny jokes, but none come to me right now. Our dough is looking really good. And at this point, you want to beat it for 5 minutes. Knead it. You can either do it in your bowl, or if you're doing it by hand, you just take a breadboard with a floured surface and just, fold it over itself and knead it. What you want to do is when you knead the bread, it gets that gluten. Alright, so once you've kneaded it for 5 minutes, you're going to check it, make sure it has that nice, it wants to be tacky but not sticky. So if your finger comes off, it's good. So then you're just going to pull it all off the dough hook. Out of the pan. See when your bread's the right consistency. Your pan will basically come clean when you take it out. You don't need this anymore. So we're going to basically just take this and make it into a nice little round ball. I got a smaller bowl. I'm going to put it in here. This bowl has been rubbed with vegetable oil. And then stick down there, and then we turn it over. And we're going to let it rise. Alright, and you're going to take this, and because it's kind of cold today and it's not really warm in here, this has to rise for like an hour in a nice warm spot. So I preheated my oven to about 100 degrees, and I'm just going to put it in here. Now I turned the oven off. You don't want any more, you just want it warm. I'm going to put it in here, my oven, for about an hour, and we'll be back. Alright, we are back, and for this part of the recipe, you're going to need And I'm sorry if you can't see me that great. You're going to need pretzel salt, 1 egg yolk beaten with 1 tablespoon of water, 2/3 cup baking soda, a baking pan lined with parchment paper, and 10 cups of boiling water. And of course your dough. And there, as you see, we probably have plenty of doubleness in the dough. We'll set that down. At this point, you're going to turn your oven on to 450. And get that preheated. You're going to add your water. Almost like making a science experiment. Stir it up. Alright, you're going to take your dough now. Take your dough and you're going to punch it down. So now you're going to take your dough and basically pinch it off into 8 equal pieces. You may have some bigger ones, but we're going to make 3 kinds of pretzels today. We're going to make pretzel buns, a pretzel twist, a pretzel roll, and then pretzels. So I'm going to take the bigger bun part first. You're going to shape that into a round circle. You're going to drop it in the water. You want to put it in boiling water for about 20 seconds to 30 seconds. Once that's done, you're going to take it out and lay that right there. That's the bun. And then we're going to make the pretzel roll. And you're just going to roll this out to about 24 inches. Then you're going to take it and just roll it on up like a spiral. Like that. I'm going to pinch the end together. I'm going to pick that up. Then I'm going to put that in the water for the same amount of time. And as that's going, you can kind of start rolling out your next rope. But then you got to stop, because if you forget that, then they get too overdone. And you put that one on your cooking sheet. You got a couple inches around it, a couple in spacing. Then you're just going to make pretzels. So again, you want to do about a 24-inch rope. Pick it up, make a U, cross it, bring it down, and then again, you're going to drop this in the water. Lay this down on your sheet. At this point, you may have to do some adjusting, prettiness control. Okay, so now you've done making your pretzels, or got them all shaped and on your cooking sheet with parchment paper. I did, however, forget to mention that I do brush some vegetable oil on the parchment paper. It also helps keep them from sticking. So at this point, you're going to want to take your egg wash and simply just brush your dough pieces. Then your last step before you put them in the oven is you put your pretzel salt on them. And you're ready to go. 12 minutes at 450. In 12 minutes we'll have great pretzel buns. Alright, I'm back and we are done with bake. Pull these puppies out. And they look gorgeous. So there's one thing I didn't mention, and that's I take another half stick of butter, melt it, and then I brush it on top. It just helps give it a little bit of a shine and better flavor. Sometimes I put garlic powder in here, or garlic flakes, just to give some more flavor. Sometimes I sprinkle everything with Parmesan cheese afterwards. This part's totally up to you how you want to top it. There's so much more you can do. The buns make great sandwich rolls. These I use for hamburgers. Or you can use these for hamburgers. I also use them for sandwiches, ham and cheese. Then I just wrap them up in tin foil and put them back in the oven to get nice and hot. And that's it for pretzels. It's not that difficult, it's just time consuming, and I hope you give it a try. Alright, next time on Craig's Kitchen, we are going to make something really yummy. Goodbye.